What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, this is TWA Motorsports, and today we are on the Sierra pickup. We've got some stuff. I'm going to tease you guys a little bit on stuff that's going to be coming on this thing. But before we get to that, of course, guys, like always, go to twamotorsports.com. The website's been live for a while now. Check out the hats, the stickers, the clothes. Anything you buy definitely helps support the channel, keeps these projects rolling. So let's get into what we're going to be doing today. So I've got a few things back from my painter. I told you guys in a video a while back. Look, if you'll notice, the black mirror caps are on because I didn't want to leave it open for just junk to get into the mirror. Got my mirror caps back. They are not painted the pearl color that they came off of anymore, so we're going to be installing those. I don't know how much, we're going to get some other stuff, but I want to show you guys, I kind of want to tease you a little bit on some stuff that I got that I'm really excited about putting in. Another thing we're going to address today is this. You hear that? This hinge down here is broken, and it's actually bad on both sides. I'm going to show you guys that, and we'll see how much further we get, some other stuff. But I want to show you some of the stuff that I've got. Like I said, it's kind of a tease on what's going to be coming. We got new hinges. They come uncoated, guys, from GM. I actually ordered this stuff all from GM, well, with the exception of the mirror caps. Just got these back from paint. You can see I've got a completely new piece for the front under the grille. I'm waiting on headlights. I'd like to do the front end stuff at the same time. These two things, the mirror caps and this, we're going to address today for sure. We're waiting on headlights, so it's going to be a little bit. I also went to a local wrecking yard that parts out a lot of these trucks, and check it out. I got the dark interior to swap this truck over. Now, I didn't get all the stuff, but I got a lot of it. And so these door panels obviously are going to need some love as far as cleanup. But here's what I'm really excited about. This right here, this dash is the hardest piece in the world to find not broken. This one is not broken. The other part of that, guys, is on the very top of my shelf. It is not cracked or broken either, if you can believe that. So I've always hated that these were a light color. They only did it on the dash and the door panels on like the work trucks. So I wanted to switch it over. And then obviously, guys, you were also seeing that we got a new gauge, or new to me, gauge cluster out of a used truck, with the 6-gauge cluster as opposed to the cheap work truck 4. Also got the surrounds to use with that. So that's going to be, I don't know if we're going to get to that in this video. We may do that in this video. I don't know. I'm waiting on the window tint guy because I'm going to tint the whole windshield. I really want to put this in after. So that's going to be in a separate video. I'm getting I've got an appointment set for window tinting. But some of the exciting things that I wanted to show you guys that I had coming on this truck. We're going to make it look really good. This right here looks really tacky. And could I have taken this off? Yes, but it looked like it was broken in a couple spots. So I just opted to buy a new one from GM. Of course, guys, like always, I will list all this stuff in the description. But the very first thing I want to do is let's get these mirror caps popped off. We're not going to be using these black ones anymore, so I'm going to toss them. They are the textured, they're the textured ones. Obviously, I wanted the painted ones, and I wanted them to match. So let's set you guys up on the tripod and see if we can pop these off. I don't really care as much as if I break these. As a matter of fact, I can almost get them off. I think they're a little bit loose. I think one of the tabs was broken on the black ones, but we'll get these off and the new one's on. Now, you're going to be kind of hard pressed to find these new. I don't think they sell them anymore that are paintable. They may, and I'm just maybe missing it, but I obviously got the mirrors, guys, used. Not a whole lot to these. If you're careful, I think this one had a broken spot or something, but you can see the tabs on the bottom, and then there's tabs across the top. I'm going to clean this mirror up with my brush. Looks like it's snapped. There we go. It was snapped there. I'm going to clean this mirror up with my brush and some Chemical Guys trim cleaner real quick before we snap the new one on. This is just a good time to do that, I think. If you guys have never used this, it's called like Total Interior Cleaner. It works really, really well to like clean stuff up before it works as glass cleaner and just kind of a clean everything type deal. We're gonna see if we can scrub some of this old dirt off. Of course, I just dropped my brush. Get some of this old junk off. and it does a pretty decent job. I don't know that I'm gonna coat these mirrors right now, as far as like with any kind of, I don't know, I may. But I'll list this in the description. I've just recently found this stuff, and I really like it. I really like it for cleaning interior. It smells good. It doesn't, if you're trying to clean something, you don't want like grease all over or that greasy like armor off feel. It works really well for that. Just leaves a nice clean surface. All right, let's go grab that mirror cap, snap that thing on here. Got the new mirror, and we're just trying to stay, it's way easier to put on than it is to take off, I'll tell you that much. So we're just trying to snap in the bottom, and then we'll try to push the top in and get it where it needs to go. That's it. Not much to it. Oh, that's nice. Just want to make sure it's fitting all the way it is. Woo! That looks great. Just to me, this is just a cleaner look. Doesn't look as much like a work truck when you have a painted mirror on. So I'll pop the other one on off camera. I'm gonna do the same thing, clean it up, and then we'll move on to the door hinges. So I'd be absolutely lying to you if I told you that I wasn't going crazy I want to put these gauges in. So I've decided to skip the door hinges for just a minute, and we're gonna put these gauges in. I cleaned them up. Guys, it should be a plug and play situation, but we do have to take a couple things out first. This new piece that we put in, we need to take out. Okay, try not to break it since it's brand new. I'm just gonna let it set right here. I also pulled this out a little, took the panel off the side, and then we need to get this guy off, which has never fit correctly, to be real honest with you. Holy cow, that is in there. They've got it, somebody put it on wrong. And it is not wanting to pop out of there. It's supposed to be a little more flat than what it is. Afraid I'm gonna break it. Of course, it's already cracked, so it probably wouldn't matter. All right, we're gonna leave it for now. We're gonna go on to the radial bezel. We'll pop it out of the way. I don't want to break it either. We'll just let it kind of dangle down here. And we've got some, I may have to grab the key actually, but we've got some 7mm that are holding some stuff together. Golly, it's covering up this though. I'm telling you, this piece right here should just snap in. And it's not. I mean, I got another one if I break it, but man, I didn't want to break it. All right. I'm gonna go grab the 7mm and we're gonna we got a screw here. I think we've got one down below here. I'm gonna grab my light too, and we'll see what's required. We're definitely gonna have to get the shifter down out of the way. So I feel really dumb now because there's 2 screws up here holding this thing in place. And no wonder why it wasn't wanting to come off. It's clipped, but it's also got 2 screws run through it. I don't think these are the original screws. These are Phillips. Maybe they are. Actually, they're Torx. Okay, well, let's go grab a Torx. Looks as though the screws that go up into this are a T10. Maybe these are original. I mean, that'd be like GM to use a Torx there. Bet it comes off pretty easy now. I went and looked at my new one that's the darker color, and yeah, what a joke. I'm sitting here yanking on this thing and it's doing the wrong thing, guys. All right, so now we've got some 7mm around the top. Let's see if we can get those out. 7mm on there, that'd help. one there. There's another. I don't know if this is a 2-piece deal. There's probably another. Oh, there is. Not sure how you reach these back ones. Oh, okay. Okay. There's clips. There we go. 2 clips on the back. Oh, 4 clips. So those 2 7s up top. We're learning together. I don't know that I've ever taken one of these out, guys. So now, check it out. We have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, holding this guy in place. And I know what you're thinking, man, doing all this work and you're gonna have to do it again to take the dash out, but that's fine. We'll do it again. I don't know if this one's gonna be as easily accessible. Now there's just one plug in this and it's at the top. And I know we lost some light here, guys. So let's see if we can pull this thing out. I don't know how much room we have. Oh, we got a gobber room. So there's just this single plug in the back and our old one is out. Look at all the junk on it. All right, so now that we got that out, I am gonna clean this up, even though we're gonna be, you know, obviously taking this out at some point. I am gonna take the time to at least clean the dust off, since I cleaned the dust off the new gauge cluster. But you can see what I'm talking about. This only has, it has dummies here where a gauge would be, but it only has 4 gauges. This one here will add, we get voltage and oil pressure, which we did not have before. So let me get this cleaned up. This poor dash is in terrible shape. All right, so we need to set our new one in here. We need to plug it in, obviously. The good news is you have a ton of slack. You know, the older ones, guys, I remember doing this like on an S10 back in the day, and there was like no room. Let's get it somewhat shoved back in here. Well, it looks good, but will it work? I'm gonna put, I'll tell you what, let's do. Before we even snap this back together, I think I have the key here. Let's just see if it turns on. I didn't unplug the battery or anything. I probably should have. Ooh, this has got a lot of miles on it. 273,000 miles. Now, look, guys, you could send this and have it programmed if you wanted. It's not a big deal, and I may end up doing that, but I know what the mileage is on the other one. I'm not too concerned about that. I just wanted to make sure that it worked. It does work. All the gauges are working. I got oil pressure. Nice. All right, let's put the screws back in the corner. Now we got the bezel somewhat cleaned up. I'm gonna try to put it down in gear, I guess, before I just try to stab this thing in place. Also turn the light on so we got a little more light. Let's looks so much different, doesn't it? Got that clipped in, and we need to put our two 7mm back up top. And then maybe we can install our upper piece correctly. Maybe we could put the plate on top the way it's supposed to go now. For some reason, these clips were not clipped in the dash, and maybe it's because they're broken or there's something else going on here, but let's attempt to try to put it where it goes. There we go. starting to kind of see why it was out. It's not quite fitting the way it normally would. So before I get that into place, I'm gonna go ahead and snap these guys back up into place. Guess I can probably turn the truck off, because this kind of goes back behind this and it made me nervous putting it in. Same way with the radio. Let's see if we can get it in here. Kind of goes behind it as well. Oh man, there's cracks all over the place. Dash. So check it out. Now we've got all the gauges. Like I said, we added battery, we added oil pressure, and then of course your stuff still toggles through like it did before. Yeah, I'm digging. All the lights work. The only downside is the mileage is wrong, but like I said, guys, I'm gonna write down my current mileage, and I may just have this programmed. I may not really matter. I mean, I'll know. It's a salvage title truck. I mean, we're making it nicer. The mileage really doesn't matter. If it does that much, I'll send it off and have it flashed. But all right, I'm excited. I think it's cool. So now let's move on to those. That I think this is going to be fun here. The good news is they bolt on. Let's talk about our next step, which is the hinges. Now look, I went out to my body shop guy and got his door holder. That's for hanging doors. Here's the problem. It doesn't go any lower than that. I can't get it under the door now that this truck's lowered. So here's what I've got. I got a block of wood under the door to kind of stabilize it with a jack. And then I have my cherry picker wrapped around the window seal with a axle strap. And I've got tension on both, because here's what I think is going to happen, guys. This door is going to get a little crazy when we start taking these bolts out. Now, one of these here is a 13. We're going to get it out. I don't want to run it into the door, though. Got it out. And then the others are also 13. So you can see I've got a 13 ratcheting wrench to get this one. There's 1, 2, 3 on this. That should be a pain. And then on the door side, so this side here, they're 2 10 millimeters is all that holds it in. What I'm afraid is going to happen is something's going to drop behind the door or the panel. We may have to end up removing more than what we want. But I'm going to start here. We're going to take these 10s out, and we'll see where it goes. Probably should have marked it, but there's a bunch of grease there. I was wanting to clean it when I got it out. We'll just have to see. I'm hoping that something doesn't drop behind this panel, but I'm really afraid it's going to. Holy cow, that's snug. I may go get my mallet and tap this so I don't wreck my hand, but we'll get this other one out and we'll see what happens. So far so good. I got the 2 out of the door here. Or yeah, out of the door side. And then guys, I've got 3. I've got that one that goes into the fender. I've got one of these front ones out, and I've got both these other ones loose. This back one at the bottom is really hard to get to. So back behind the spring, I actually had to get a 1/4 inch drive ratchet with a 13 on it, and I'm still having trouble. Just don't have a lot of room to turn, and I can't reach between the fender and it, so definitely tough. But I think once I get it out, the top one, I left a little bit easier one for last, but that'll be all the bolts. It's got several in it, but we'll keep working here. I now have 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts that hold it to this and the fender, and the 2 10s that hold it to the door, and it's loose. Now, how's it gonna come out? It's a good question. I don't know. It may not. Woo-wee! It's gonna be a fight. I'm trying to think the best direction to pull it out. I'm trying to push the door open a little. I don't know, guys. It's a snug fit, that's for sure. We're just gonna keep pushing it down towards the bottom, I suppose. There we go, got it out the bottom. Not my preferred method. Okay, now, woo-wee. I'm hoping that nothing falls because it looks like they're just setting in there. I'm gonna attempt to clean this area out really quick, and then we'll try to grab our new one and put it back into place, the exact same, I guess the opposite of what we did. Now these things are side specific, so you need to make sure that you get the right side. You can see this is my new painted one. You can kind of match them up, and there you go. You can see that they're the same. But guys, it's very important. You can see I got it all cleaned out. Looks definitely a lot better. There's a ton of grease and debris in there, probably from years of this hinge failing. But I've got to push this thing up in there, which I'm going to do, and then I'm going to get a couple, hopefully a couple of these 10s started, and also a couple of the 13s. It's going to be tricky, I'd say. Well, a little bit of good news here. I've got every bolt started. I didn't snug them down. I ran this one down first because it's obviously the easiest to get to, followed by the one in the door I did by hand. And I snugged them up a little bit, but I wanted to be able to have the movement if I needed it, because there is movement in this hinge. Same thing with the door here. I've got them just kind of snugged up. So now I'm gonna go ahead and tighten them all, and we're gonna give it a test to see exactly what happens. It's gonna take, guys, you're gonna have to have a ratcheting wrench for this job. There's just no way around it. The only way you could get without a ratcheting wrench or just a regular socket would be that back one. Now this very back one, back behind, you may have to use a 1/4 inch with a 13 on it. That's what I did. And then on the door, I just used the ratcheting 10. Before I test it, I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on here. It needs some grease. I'm gonna put just some grease. I'm gonna use a Q-tip to kind of put some on this roller here, and then we'll give it a shot. Well, I had him release the jack. We're unhooked. Let's see. Oh my gosh. But does the door shut, you know? It looks like it lines up fine. I don't think we have any gap issues. Wow, that we just got lucky there. Yeah. I think we're lined up okay. I don't think we have any problems. We're gonna give it a little jiggle here, and no, we're good. All right, that's awesome. You guys notice it's not popping anymore. Of course, I'll show you what was broken, and it's not broken yet on the other side, but the other side's making some noise too, just because it's messed up. Look at that. See that roller right there? That's what was broken. Now, can you replace that? You can. But guys, I've tried to drive those in before, and it is an absolute hassle. And they're keyed. You can see on the top, they actually bend them when they put them in from the factory. They put them in warm. And so, look, I think as long as we keep grease on that, you can see I put, like I said, a little bit of grease on it. I'm going to put a little bit more on it now that we've rolled it in and out a couple times. But I think that'll be good. Look, he painted the whole thing because it's the only way to do it, and so it's knocking some of the paint off. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna let him drive it for a couple of days, and then I'm just gonna keep knocking the paint out. That grease hopefully will hold that paint. We'll wipe that old grease out, re-grease it, and guys, I don't think we'll have any issues. It's shutting fine. Our door gaps seem good. It seems like it may pull up just a hair, like when we go to shut it here. It seems like maybe it's coming up, but it's shutting with one hand. So I'm not gonna complain. It doesn't sound like it's dragging. You know how the bottom sometimes will drag. You always notice when door pins are bad because this area right here will be all beat up. That area that you see that's beat up is from people being lazy with their feet. So same way with the rubber, which we'll have to replace at some point. But either way, I'm gonna put the other one on the other side. Guys, it's the exact same process, so I won't show you that. It's cumbersome to get in there, I will tell you that. It's not the easiest thing to get to, but it gives you a good opportunity to clean your door jambs. We now have the other door finished. I didn't show you guys that because it's the exact same thing, and we didn't have as much noise here, but it's replaced now. We got the jamb all cleaned up. Look, I think there's some adjustment. I didn't look at this, but I noticed the door seems a little further out, but there's not a lot of adjustment there. So I'm not real sure if it's the bottom of the fender. Like you guys know, this truck's been painted before. But ultimately, I think we're finished in this video. So we got the hinges, we got the mirror caps, we got the new gauges. I've got the stack of old parts over here. And so Project White Trash continues. I think that's what I'm gonna dub it, is White Trash, because that's pretty much what it is. Salvage title, you know, throwaway truck to most people. But we're gonna make it nice. Anyway, you can see all the stack of parts. We went from the 4 gauge to the 6 gauge cluster, also upgraded to the, you know, kind of polished surrounds. Somebody made a comment in the last video, you know, the AC switches have the polished surround on them. They make a switch for the headlights that has that, and I'd like to have that. The main reason I would like to replace this one is the lights. I've noticed I've got to hit it at night to get that to come on sometimes. Once you flip it, it stays on for a little bit, but hey, we're making our way through, right? We got, like I said, we got the hinges, we got the mirror caps, we got the gauges. And I think, guys, in the next video on this thing, we're going to, I've got a window tinting appointment set up for this thing. And so I need to strip the old tint off. I may show you guys that, I may not. There's only tint on the side glass. The back is just the factory 20% that GM puts in the glass. There's no actual film on it. The sides, however, we need to take the old stuff off so he has a nice working area, but I'm gonna tint the entire front windshield. Not quite as dark as some of the others that I've done. I think we're gonna do 50% there, 5 on the sides, 5 on the back. But I wanna get that dash on. I don't want it just sitting up there baking out here because it's not cracked. So I would really like, once he gets the windshield tinted, I think that may be our next move. I don't know, we'll just have to see. We got a couple new rattles. I know the exhaust is rattling. There's a new rattle under the dash I noticed. Well, he was actually coming home saying there was a new rattle. It sounds like it's under the dash. I don't know what it is, but there's a rattle there. And then the heat shield, which I thought about taking off when we lowered this thing, in the back is rattling every time you start this thing. But we're getting there little by little. We're just gonna throw some parts at it as we go. You guys kind of got a sneak peek in a prior video of some parts that we have coming, like the dash and the door panels and some of the other stuff that we got. But anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please, like always, go down there and smash that thumbs up button. If you are not subscribed, you got to get subscribed to see what goes on with this truck. Of course, while you're down there doing all that, make sure you ring that bell notification so you get hit up every time we drop a new video, and stay tuned to see what we work on next.